Welcome Pre-Calc Nation to your first video on Chapter 1, Section 1, Interval Notation. We're going to start off with talking about open and closed intervals. Open intervals are noted with the parentheses or the open circle, showing you that you exclude those values, so you do not include A and B. Versus a closed interval, which can be with brackets or a circle closed in, means you do include the A and the B, the end values. So here are just a couple examples, making sure we remember. The first way of writing it is called the interval notation. So interval notation is this first way right here. Notice the brackets mean you include those. Parentheses means you will not include. The next notation underneath is called inequality. And we will be asking you to transfer from one form to the other or write them in both forms. So let's make sure we're clear with those. Whenever you have a bracket, you will have a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. And whenever you just have the parentheses, it's just the less than or greater than symbol. Keep in mind, I'll even write it here. It could be open, greater than or less than. Here would be greater than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Let's practice. Let's see what we know. So for the first one here, we're going to do -1 with a closed circle all the way to 2 with a closed circle. So in inequality notation, -1 is your smallest value, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 2. Interval notation would be our brackets, -1 to 2. Another bracket because they're closed circles. The next example is an open circle at -1. So -1 is still my smallest value, but I only have the less than symbol now. Then at 2, it's less than or equal to 2 because it's a closed circle. I would write this in interval notation as parentheses, -1, 2 with a bracket. Next one, still boundary of -1. This time I'm including it, so I'm going to draw that extra line. And this time 2 is open, so it's going to be just a less than symbol. The bracket will go at the -1. 2 will have a parenthesis. I'm not including 2. I'll get really, really close, but will not include it. You try this last one. Hopefully you got it right. If not, look back at what we just talked about. Last thing on this page is graph on a number line. We're now taking this interval notation. We're going to graph it and put inequality. So when you graph, make sure you have a straight line with arrows on both sides, and you for sure need the number. So in this case, I just need 5. It's going to be a bracket, so I can put the bracket in, and I can also do a closed circle, whatever you're more comfortable with. Then it says it's -infinity to 5. So this right here, all the way to the left, including the arrow, up to the closed circle and bracket is my answer. Writing this in inequality notation, x is just less than or equal to 5. You do not need to put this part of the inequality. It is given already by our basic statement. So you do not need this. It is known in this statement. One more for good measure. Drawing the graph or number line. You need the number 3 in there. It's going to be an open circle at 3, or you can do a parenthesis, and it's everything to the right. Writing that now in inequality notation, x is greater than 3. Always make sure your variable comes first in your inequality notation when you're dealing with infinity going on forever. And this will be what you're going to see in our classwork. Now, these have a special name, those two that we just did. They're called unbounded intervals. So here they are in a basic way to look at it. Anything with infinity or negative infinity means it's unbounded. It will go on forever if you wanted to graph it all that way. Here are some examples, again looking at the parenthesis versus bracket and where you're shading. Let's just do 2 more. Indicate each set of real numbers on a number line. All I'm asked to do is graph. So our straight line, arrows, I at least need the number 4. Because it's a bracket, it's going to be a bracket on here. I'll change my color. It will be a bracket or a closed circle. You don't need to do both. I'm just doing both for fun. And then it's everything to the left. Negative infinity all the way up to 4, and then you stop. Last one. You need the number -3. It is going to be an open circle or a parenthesis because of the symbol parenthesis. And then it's everything to positive infinity. Everything over here is included in that statement. And that's it. Day 1 checked off the list. If you have questions, please bring them to class. Otherwise, we'll keep going. Have fun.